So, the first Great Train Robbery didn't actually involve stealing a train, and the 60s reboot only involved stealing a train so they could move it into a siding to get the money it was carrying. But has anyone ever hijacked or stolen a train, not for the contents of the carriages, but just so they could drive it? Well, funnily enough, yes. The theft of a steam locomotive happened in the events of the 1953 film The Titfield Thunderbolt. The characters of Old Dan and Mr. Valentine, played by Hugh Griffith and Stanley Holloway respectively, stole a Great Western 1400 class tank engine after theirs was sabotaged by a rival bus company. The two took it for a joyride off the rails before crashing it into a tree and getting arrested for numerous offences. Now obviously the film is a work of fiction, but it must have sparked the minds of two men who decided in January of 1961 to try their luck and recreate that fateful scene. This is the story from what I can gather. I might not have all the details correct, but it's as close as I can get them, so do bear with me. At around midnight, engine number 6422, a Great Western pannier tank, departed from the sheds and stopped at the signal box on the outlet line of the Stafford Road Yards in Wolverhampton. The driver gave the signalman the number of the engine and informed them that he was to take the locomotive light engine to Worcester for maintenance. The signalman informed the driver he was to couple onto the night sleeper train that was readying to depart and go with it as far as Wolverhampton low-level station. The driver agreed and shunted the engine to the back of the passenger train. Once the train reached low-level station, 6422 was uncoupled and continued down the line. It's believed that the engine stopped at Sowerbridge to take on water as it was making the run. At around 2 AM, the engine approached a signal box that ordered it to move into a siding to allow a faster freight train to overtake them. The signalman reported the timing of the freight train to Control as normal before mentioning he was holding a light engine in the siding. Control reported no knowledge of the engine or why it was so far down the main line, so they requested the signalman ask the driver what he was doing. By this point, the engine had been stopped for 30 minutes, and when the signalman came out to talk to the driver, he found that both the driver and the fireman had gone. As it turned out, both men had been wanted all day by railway police, I believe for committing a robbery. They had likely seen engine 6422 parked in a siding and decided to make an escape using a very unorthodox method of transport. But not only did they steal the engine, they also expertly navigated it through the yard and across many points and switches without incident. Hell, they told a yard official where they were going and even coupled the engine to a passenger train without raising suspicion. They managed to fire the engine correctly, refill it with water halfway, and managed to fool numerous railway officials without raising suspicion. They literally stole a steam engine because they could. The men were eventually caught, and it was found the driver was, or at one point was, a soldier. It's believed he also had much experience driving a locomotive and was familiar with the line he drove it down, as there were hundreds of signals and many ground discs along the way that informed him if the points and signals were set correctly, something that many amateurs would miss or interpret incorrectly. By the time the men had come to the end of their joyride, they'd made it 28 miles away from Wolverhampton. The driver and fireman were both tried in court. When asked about the charges, an official said, "There is trespass, of course, and there must be something which stops people from taking away rolling stock without permission." Suffice to say, both of them either got some prison time or a stern slap on the wrists. The story still goes around today, partly as a reminder of how important it is to be secure with such things, but mostly because it's just bloody hilarious. Subscribe for more.